That's exactly right. So we have already 60% of our electricity sourced from renewables, which is a lot. Actually, in European terms, we are a front runner, and we am and continuing to be so. So as you said, we have anticipated our 80% goal to 2026, and we am at reaching 85% already in 2030. And we do it actually because it's good for the country and it's good for our citizens. Well, first and foremost, it allows us to be climate neutral already by 2045. That is our goal. Second, it ensures the security of supply that our country needs. Our endogenous resources are the renewables. So when we increase the share of renewables, we are increasing our security of supply. We do it also because it provides a more cost competitive and affordable prices. This is important for families, and this is important for the industry. And the fourth reason why we follow this path of increasing renewables in our country is because it actually attracts new industries to Portugal, and this means that we are creating jobs, green jobs, jobs for the future. So it's a strategy that has many benefits and has proved in the past, for instance, by shielding us from the recent crisis that we endured.
بالخطة الجديدة أيضا البرتغال أعلنت بأنه سترفع الطاقة الإنتاجية من الطاقة الشمسية إلى 20.4 جيجا وات، هذا من 9.3، رقم كبير جدا. شو هي الخطط اللي واضعينها لتحقيق هذه المستهدفات بحلول 2030؟
Well, it's a tight time frame, let's say, but this is the moment to do so. On solar, the goal that you mentioned is absolutely right, so the 20 gigawatt, but we are actually doing as a mix of both centralized production, so these larger plants, but at the same time decentralized production. So you have also, of those 25 gigawatts are actually what we call renewable energy communities, self-consumption, that allows also the individual citizens, the individual consumers, the firms to grasp the direct benefits of the energy transition, and that's also very important. We have simplified a lot our procedures, so we have cut red tape to make it easier for these licensing processes to proceed, and at the same time we are involving local communities by providing them compensation, by ensuring that those projects are then share their energy with the local communities, so that you have at the same time a fast pace in the implementation of those projects, but at the same time that communities can grasp and understand the benefits of that transition.
ضمن الخطة نفسها بتقولوا إنه البرتغال ستنهي استخدام كل محطات الغاز الطبيعي بحلول 2040 والوصول للحياد الكربوني ب 2045. عم نتحدث عن طاقة متجددة، عم نتحدث عن طاقة شمسية، وأيضاً جرين هيدروجين، الهيدروجين الأخضر. كيف سيتم تحقيق ذلك، وكم من الاستثمارات اليوم البرتغال بحاجة لها لتحقيق هذا المستهدف؟
Yes, and let me add to what you just said, that we actually have ended coal power production in 2021, and we have actually anticipated the closure of those coal power plants. So this is to say that we are basically committed with this direction of energy transition, and indeed for that transition to take place, we need to attract a lot of investment. And actually that is happening from many geographies. So in Portugal, you now have opportunities on offshore wind, you have opportunities on green hydrogen, as you mentioned, you have opportunities on lithium. We have the largest European reserves on lithium. And because of our, I would say, this mix of regulatory stability, policy stability, in the sense that in Portugal, you know that the energy transition will happen, and will happen in this direction at this fast pace. There will be no U-turn in terms of policy choices. And if you add to that political stability, you have the perfect framework for investors to come to the country and to actually make the most of our already available clean, reliable and very cost competitive electricity. This is a major competitive advantage that adds to this stability in these different fronts, and it is actually attracting many investors to our country, and we welcome them because what we want actually is to, for instance, if you talk about green hydrogen, we want to develop the entire value chain in the country. If we talk about lithium, we want to develop the entire value chain in the country. So we are working very closely with investors to make sure that they have the conditions to set up their business in our country, but also that they contribute to the growth of our economy with jobs, with national value added, and with exports.
من المعروف بأن استخدام الطاقة المتجددة، وخصوصا كما ذكرت في مستهل الحديث بأنه أنتم من أول الدول الأوروبية باستخدام الطاقة المتجددة. ذكرت البنفتس، محاسن الاستخدام، من ضمنها بالتأكيد أمن الطاقة والاستدامة وما إلى ذلك، ولكن في المقابل هناك بعض التحديات. يعني فينا نتحدث أقل ما يمكن بموضوع الكوست، الكلفة، وأيضا موضوع الانفراستراكشر اللي هو البنى التحتية. ما هي أهم التحديات التي تواجهكم حتى الآن؟ من ضمنها مثلا موضوع التخزين للطاقة المتجددة، واللي لحد هلا هناك يعني بحث عن حلول له وهي غير موجودة حتى الآن.
Yeah, storage, as you mentioned, is a challenge, but that can be solved with the right policy. So when you have 80% of incorporation of renewables into your electricity mix, you need to think carefully about storage for sure. But before that, let me tell you that we actually have different renewable resources in Portugal. So we have a mix of hydro, wind, solar, and now offshore wind. It's the combination of those that actually also allow you to have some stability into the system. Adding to that, we are now developing our national storage strategy precisely to make sure that we have the devices to stabilize the production of electricity when it's needed. Then on top of that, grid is also a challenge. We are working closely with the grid operator, with the regulator, with the investors that want to come to Portugal to make sure that we develop the grid at the same pace that you need that grid up and running. If you do this balance, then you are also making sure that the costs and the benefits are aligned in terms of the time frame. So these are two very important challenges that we are leading with. The third challenge, because you asked me for three, the third challenge is actually to make sure that we have good interconnections with our partner countries and that we have reliable partners to make sure that indeed our system is bulletproof, because we are talking about energy, we are talking about electricity, so we cannot afford any failures. And I'm pretty confident that what we have in Portugal is a very good mix of clean energy, but at the same time very reliable. This is what we are working for.